Trash to treasure. That's what I'm calling these cards. Us crafters are so thrifty that I wanted to share with you how I turned remnants from another project into these two beautiful Christmas cards. Hi, I'm Linda Anderson from Linda Lou Creates, and I'm so happy you joined me. Let me show you what I mean with trash to treasure. Let me just move these up. I was working on a preparing kits for our Christmas card making club this month, and I was punching out using the ornament punch from the Brightly Gleaming suite out of this piece of Pretty Peacock. This negative is what's going to be used for the club projects. So here I am with a bunch of the actual ornaments punched out. So of course I thought I got to put those on a card. So that's how these cards got started. So I want to start first by showing how I came up with this one. The card base is actually the note cards, the very vanilla note cards. You get 20 in a pack. It includes the card base and envelope. The card base is already pre-scored. The envelopes to coordinate with it. So there we go. Let's talk about economical in using those. So here is the supplies. Let me just move this off to the side. The card base. Let me just tell you, this measures, whenever you fold it, 3.5 by 5. Okay, just so you're aware of that. Now let me work here from the bottom. I have a piece of the Brightly Gleaming Designer Series paper. This is 1.5 by 5. And my Pretty Peacock is actually 1/4 of an inch. If you've been watching my videos, you know I usually like to have a very narrow margin, but this time I thought I would change things up, and it is a 1/4 of an inch bigger, so that makes this 1 3/4 wide by 5 inches long. I punched out, or rather, excuse me, I die cut out a stitched shape square. This measures 2 1/8 inches on all 4 sides, and so I just cut out a square of old olive, then 2 3/8 of an inch by 2 3/8. Here is my cut out or punched out ornament, and let me show you the stamp set that I used here. It is the Christmas Gleaming stamp set, and I used this Merry Christmas, stamped it in old olive onto some scrap, and just cut it out with my scissors. I put a couple dimensionals on the back of that. Now I am going to pull out some Pretty Peacock ink and this swirly image here and decorate up the ornament itself. Let me just bring this in closer. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully I don't have too much of a glare. That I just stamped on the ornament just to zhuzh it up a little bit, and yeah, that was it. So let's go ahead and do that. So here is that little scrolly image. My Pretty Peacock ink, and let's see, I actually found that if I started at the bottom and worked my way up, it was a lot better for me. I tried stamping it different ways, and this is the way that worked best for me. Okay, just a couple more here. Notice I'm kind of moving the stamp back and forth because I don't want a straight line of the same images stacked one on top of the other. And there we go. So there is the ornament. I'm just going to pop a couple dimensionals on the back of that, and we will be ready to go and get this going. So I am a lover of dimensionals, so don't be surprised with how many I put on. So let me just wipe my fingers off, because otherwise I'll get ink over everything. So, all right, so let's get started here. Just adhering some things together. That's all it's going to take. I mean, look at that beautiful paper on the other side. This Brightly Gleaming paper has the copper accents to it, so that makes it is just stunning. It really is. So but today I happen to just pull out, and I'm like, I'm going to work with the non-copper side. and show you just how fun that these can be as well. So let's go ahead, get this adhered now down to my card base. I'm just turning it sideways so I can see better. Just trying to go even here on either side, top to bottom. All right, so here we go. The 2 squares, I'm going to go ahead, adhere them together as well. And for just something fun, I thought I would turn it into a diamond shape instead of just right on square. So let me go ahead, and you know what? I am going to just put adhesive on this, not dimensionals, and I'll explain why here in a second. So down goes my squares. Now the reason why I didn't pop this up is I have the ornament that is being popped up, and here in a second I'll show you then too, I have the sentiment popped up. So I was afraid that would add too much height then to the card. So I decided to just adhere that straight down. So here is my Merry Christmas with, I used the mini dimensionals on this one, just in the center of it, because I'm going to overlap it over the ornament. So I really only need the dimensionals where it overlaps on the ornament. A couple more things to just put it over the top. I tied a bunch of linen thread bows, have it here on my roll of glue dots so that I'm ready to go. So that's what I have here. The glue dots are a little bit bigger than the knot of your bow, so just kind of roll it up on itself so that it's hidden. I'm going to adhere that down. If I need to trim up the tails, I will. And the last little bit I have is the metallic pearls. It comes in gold and silver, and I just happen to like the gold on this. So let me just see if I can get a hold of that. And all I'm going to do is put it here in the corners, just in 2 places. So 1, 2, and there's card number 1, recycling that ornament that I had punched out. Now let me show you inside. I kept it very simple. I used a sentiment actually on both cards. It's the same sentiment. It is out of this Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set. If this I find so versatile, it's crazy how much I use this stamp set. If you need that little sentiment just to fit in somewhere, this is perfect. So I highly recommend that one. Okay, card number 1 is done. Now, card number 2, let me bring it on in. Again, the same ornament that was punched out, but this time, let me grab all my supplies. I ran it through an embossing folder. It's the Stylish Scroll embossing folder found in the holiday catalog. So that is what I did with this one. Now you'll see, I'm hoping the camera can pick it up, maybe a little bit of shimmer and shine. What I did on this is I grabbed a sponge, just a chunk of a sponge, and my silver Delicata ink, also found in the holiday catalog. So let me just move stuff aside so I don't ink anything up that's not supposed to be. I am just going to get some ink on my sponge and just lightly rub it over. You'll see that it's starting to pick up. Let me go ahead and I'm going to put this down to give a solid surface, but those embossed raised areas are really picking up on the ink. I'm not sure if you're able to see it real good. Let me just finish a little bit. And even if you want to, you can come along the edges and just kind of sponge around the edges to give that even a little extra shine around there. Kind of highlights the ornament itself then by doing that. Okay, so here is now that recycled ornament using the Delicata ink over an embossed image here. So now this will get some dimensionals on it as well. Let me just wipe my fingers off with that ink. So here we go. The next card, as I showed you, and here are the supplies then. So once again, I used the same card base out of the note cards then. Inside again, the same sentiment from that itty bitty Christmas stamp set. The designer series paper measures 1.5 wide, it's 5 inches across. I have just a little strip of old olive, and this is all of 1/4 inches wide, again by 5 inches, just to add a little strip across the top. Now here are the pieces of the from the stitched shapes as well as the layering ovals that I used. Now this is that metallic acetate that is in the holiday catalog, and I just thought it would be fun to show that off. I guess I don't need that vanilla. I could certainly put it straight on, but I just for some reason wanted a different color behind that to really make the ornament pop. So that's why I have a second piece then cut out of the stitched shapes here. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these two together. And this is what I like to do. I have another sponge here, and this sponge is dedicated to using glue only. So I will just put some glue on that. And let me just grab a piece of scrap paper here so that I don't get it on my surface. And I'm just going to, just rub this across using the sponge. Okay, it will dry clear underneath there, but this way it's just a nice thin layer of glue. All right, so let me get all of this unstuck from me and set it all aside. Okay, so go ahead, line these two up. The glue will give you a little bit of wiggle room then too to be able to line it up. And let me just shift it over just a smidge, and there we go. All right, so let me just get that pressed down in there, and I have my 2 layers now together on that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get this put down onto the scalloped pretty peacock piece here then. My fingers are still so sticky. I'm gonna have to, here we go, wipe that off. All right, so here we go. Here is that layer. Yes, dimensionals. I'm gonna pop some on here. Okay, so that's done. So let's go ahead and get the stripe. Again, let me show you the other side with the copper. Beautiful. So, but I'm going to put this side facing down. Seems a shame, I know, but I just liked having the plain side. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up here at the bottom, side to side. And now as far as this strip goes, again, I'm just going to use a little dollop of glue on this. So don't squeeze too hard, just get a nice skinny line of glue. It does dry clear, but I like to try to avoid it coming out the sides. Now I am butting this up against the paper that I already have, that DSP that I already have down. So, all right, so here we go. Now let me go ahead and put on my oval. And down it goes. Okay. Now I'm going to bring back my ornament. I have the dimensionals on the back of this. So let me pop this up then too. Okay, get that right in the center of the ornament. Oh, yeah, cat hair. Sorry. All right. Now, as far as the sentiment goes, again, I used a sentiment from that Itty Bitty Christmas. Very merry, very cute. And I punched it out with a 1 1/8 inch scallop punch. And I'm just going to adhere that right in here. Now, if my dimensionals are in the way, underneath here, if I wanted to slide that in a little bit further, I can always trim this down if need be, but I'm okay there. So let me just go ahead. I'm just going to put a little line of glue and a dimensional on this. Yes, just one. All right. So this is the part that's going to be hanging off of the oval, and this is the part that is going to actually be on the oval. So I will go ahead and slide that in. So I'm having that adhered down with the glue on that side and the dimensional here to help keep it going straight across. As you can see, I already did the embellishment, but that happens to come from the enameled or rather faceted dots then that are in the new in colors. So this one happens to be the pretty peacock one. Okay, so again, a bow, linen thread. I already have that ready to go, and across the top it goes to just finish up my ornament. All right, and there it is. So let me bring the cards back. This one using that an embossing that shape that I punched out, and this one stamping on it. So here are two ideas then to use up some of your, what most people would call trash, and turn it into some treasure. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. I always like to see that. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel as well. I appreciate all of you who have. So I don't want you to miss out on any new videos, so please be sure and do that. I have a blog, lindaloucreates.com. There's lots of projects on there. And from there, you can even sign up for my newsletter. Sometimes I'll sneak in a card just specifically for my newsletter subscribers. So, thanks again for joining me, guys, and I sure hope you get a chance to create today. Bye now.